Hi, this is Belinda Calibriali and this is Talking High Performance with Belle. So I'm making this podcast for people who want to live their best life, people who know that there's more in them, but they just don't know how to get it. So there's a gap, something's missing, I'm making it for them. Welcome to episode 27 of Talking High Performance with Belle. In today's episode, we're going to deep dive into career revitalization. And we all know that feeling when our careers start to become mundane and lack the challenges that once fueled our passions. And, you know, I think that definitely happened for me where I felt like contemplating jobs and changing, which ultimately is what I did. But not all of us have that desire to change our careers. You know, some of us know that it's a long-term career, we're not going to change. So how do we make the most out of our time at work, and how do we inject some excitement into our routines that can sometimes feel a little bit boring and mundane? And today I want to share with you 7 strategies to recharge and revitalize your career, which will allow you hopefully to optimize your performance and approach your work with fresh eyes. So if you're ready to unlock your potential and discover new ways, you're in the right place. So let's jump in. So how do you finish the year strong and bring the best of yourself moving forward to stay on top of your game, but also to ensure that you don't burn out? So, you know, we're heading into the end of the year. Looking at your career and ways to recharge is so important in order to help you stay motivated, in order to continue that momentum as we approach the end of the year. And it helps with our perspective on things. It helps to improve our motivation, and it really helps to keep us recharged. And when I talk about recharging your career, what do I mean and how can you do it? You know, I want you to come out of today with the point of view of thinking, okay, I may not love my job, but I'm going to be doing it for 5, 10, 15, 20, you know, some of us 30 years. So what can I do to bring the most into every day? You know, and how would it feel different? You know, to me, going into a job that you don't love, you know, just it wouldn't excite me at all. Like, I absolutely love my job, but I also know that we do reach times in our career where we feel like it's a bit same, it's a bit mundane. So how do we spice it up a little bit? So if you think about your job at the moment, how fulfilled are you? You know, are you comfortable with what you're doing on the day-to-day or on the week-to-week? Or are there things that you can be doing and tweaking to bring a better outcome for yourself when it comes to the feeling that you get when you're at work? You know, another question is, how happy are you? Are you excited to go to work? You know, are you happy in the tasks that you're undertaking? Or is there a way that you can bring more enjoyment to these tasks? Even to the ones that could be repetitive or the ones that frustrate you. And then another really important question, because it's recharge month, is, are you energized? You know, throughout the day, are you constantly doing things that will help you maintain your energy? Or are there some things that you could do to recharge that would help you with that? And last week we spoke about recharging routine. So if you haven't listened to that, I encourage you to go back and listen to that episode. But how are you maintaining your energy, and what effect is that having on your day at work? And that leads me to the next point, which is the main point for today. The main reason for this particular podcast episode is, how do you revitalize and recharge your current career? And I want to share with you a few ways to do just that today. The first way is, how do you add an extra 5% to how you're showing up? You know, are you happy with how you're showing up in the workplace? Are you happy with your routine? Are you happy with how you're treating others, in your ability to manage stressful situations? You know, if you could improve by just 5%, if you could reset each day and bring a little bit better than what you did yesterday, what would you do differently? And how would that help recharge your career? Point number 2 is, how do you bring more purpose to what you're doing? You know, when you start any given day at work, are you aware of what you're trying to accomplish? Are you aware of what you're doing? Are you aware of the importance of that role? You know, what's the reason? You know, I was talking to a client a few weeks back, and she was saying that her leader always passes the really frustrating, time-consuming problems for her to fix, and she hated doing it. But we spoke about, why does that task always go to you? And she said, because she can do it quicker and they have faith that she's going to get it done properly. So she was able to flip it and go, okay, the leaders may give me annoying jobs, but they give it to me because they trust me and I get it done in a timely manner. So that brought more purpose to what she was doing. The third point is to ask yourself, are you fulfilled in your role? You know, is this a temporary role or a means to an end? Or are you planning on staying here, for the next foreseeable future? Either way is okay, but you need to recognize it for what it is. If it's a temporary role and you lack fulfillment, ask yourself, what can you do on those days to bring more joy to your work? It could be exercising before your shift. It could be getting to know your team a little bit better. Think outside the box. It could be going for a walk on your lunch break. If it's a role that you intend to stay in and you're not fulfilled, it's really important to work out what can you do to create change. What can you do to raise the level of fulfillment at work? Is there something else that you can do that you haven't thought of? Do you need to think about what the next steps are moving forward? I was talking to another client a few months back who wasn't getting the respect that she deserved at work, and some of her team members were quite mean to her, and she was a senior in her role, and they just weren't really showing any respect. And so after our sessions finished, she actually texted me and she said, "Thanks so much for the sessions. I've decided to give up my career." So I've decided to go into caring, aged care, where she would get that feeling of, joy and get that feeling of reward. And it was great to see her make that change and to have that level of awareness to go, you know what, it doesn't feel good doing what I'm doing. I'm not fulfilled, and I'm navigating my career path into a job that aligns with me more. And then also takes pressure off. So that was really good. Point number 4 is to think about ways to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Sometimes in certain jobs, work can become a bit same. And if it does, we often find ourselves lacking the energy and the excitement that we can have, when we aren't faced with new challenges, where we've got nothing to look forward to. So if you think about your current career, how do you push yourself out of your comfort zone? And how would you feel if you did that? What are some goals that you could set? Getting into the tail end now of 2023 and heading into 2024, how do you set yourself up for greater success next year? To allow yourself to increase your level of drive and to increase your level of focus. What do you need? Are there conversations that you need to have? Is there study that you need to do? How do you push yourself out of your comfort zone? Point number 5 is to build deeper connections with your colleagues. Nurture your network around you. And it's really, really important when it comes to energy in the workplace, when it comes to team morale, when it comes to team building. How are you showing up for those around you, and what impact does it have, when you build those deeper connections and those more meaningful relationships? How often in the workplace, and myself included, have been guilty of this in the past, where you perceive someone to be a certain way. So maybe you don't open up, or you think you have to act a certain way, and then you get to know them and you realize they're not like that at all. They're actually pretty cool, and it's just from building those deeper connections, which allows you to feel more recharged at work because you look forward to going to see these people. So that's really, really important. Point number 6 is to invest in your development. This is really important when it comes to allowing us to be recharged, re-energized. So what are you doing to learn? How are you challenging yourself at work? How are you developing your skills? And how would this improve, and how would this change the outcome of your working day, of your working week, if you were focusing on self and going, hey, I didn't know that last month or last year, but now I'm learning, now I'm growing. And this could be, even talking to one of your bosses, talking to a manager, or even if you're a leader, thinking, how can I go above and beyond in this area? And how can I invest in my development to make me a better, well-rounded person at work? And point number 7 is focus on a work-life balance. We need to create boundaries between work and between life. And it's really important in allowing us to recharge, having time when you're on, but also having time when you're off really helps to maintain those energy levels. So taking time to rest and recharge out of work, it will improve our ability to be switched on when we're at work. And I think that's often where the lines can become blurry. We think we need to be on all the time, but in fact we don't. So I encourage you to have a think about your life. Where is there room to recharge, and are the boundaries clearly set between work and between home? So there you have it, 7 ways to recharge your current career by implementing some habits that will build more excitement and energy into your life, and the benefits of why implementing them can really help you moving forward in your careers. And when you're more fulfilled and when you're happier in your career, the natural flow-on effect is you're happier at home. So if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter when you'll be the first to know when an episode lands. And I look forward to chatting to you next week as we wrap up Recharge Month and I talk about how to find flow through the recharging of your current skills and how to take them to the next level. So until then, live a successful, purposeful and fully charged life. Your coach, Belle.